I really love Harry Potter, and I enjoyed reading the books and watching the movies. And I was reading one book, and I realized, wow, there's a NLP technique in here. And although it isn't strictly NLP, it's actually very similar, and it's actually something that works and that you can use. And I'm sure some of the fans, the Harry Potter fans out there, know what I'm going to talk about. But I thought I would go over it and then break it down and look at it in terms of NLP as well. So they they learn in one of their classes about a particular spell, and it's used for this creature called a bogart. And a bogart is this creature that assumes the form of the thing that you're most afraid of in the world. And so, in many ways, there sure there's no such thing as a bogart, but you could think of a bogart as a thought, um, right? Very often, there's what's in the world, but it's really our thought about these things that's really terrifying about whatever it is that makes us frightened or worried in the world. So this is a spell that's used to deal with a bogart, so you don't get terrified. Um, and the spell is pretty interesting. So the first thing is the incantation, which is the word ridiculous. And so, when the bogart, you're confronted with the bogart, you take out your wand and you say ridiculous. um, Now that's the first part. And the second part is you get in mind whatever this thing is that's the thing that you're most afraid of in the world. And then you want to think of something that truly makes you laugh. And the teacher makes this point. It has to be something that truly makes you laugh. And this is what's really ingenious about it. So in the movie, and I'll put a clip in the notes in the video, the first child who tries this is this kid Neville, and Neville is terrified of Professor Snape. And so the professor has him think about his grandmother and his grandmother's clothes, and he likes his grandmother. Um, and the professor says, okay, so when you say ridiculous, you're going to think of Snape in your grandmother's clothes. So you're basically blending the pictures of this thing that you're terrified of and something that you find incredibly amusing. And very often it's the blending that makes something amusing. Um, it's not so much that, Professor Snape on his own is one thing, the grandmother's clothes on its own are one thing, but when you see them together, that's what makes it funny. And that's what will make this work for you. And I recommend that you try it. In fact, I recommend you get a list of things that scare you and go through them one at a time so that you really learn the pattern. Now, he says, have your wand, and you see just having a wand, mine's actually a chopstick, but having a wand and actually saying it, I can't help but laugh. And that's what makes this work, is that as you're thinking of the thing that up until now has terrified you, you're teaching your body to laugh, which teaches your nervous system a new pattern. That's why this is actually quite brilliant. Um, it's not so much the things in the world that we're afraid of. We're afraid of the way we're representing them to ourselves. So if there's someone who scares you, you might be picturing them kind of leaning into you or having a big picture. And this is a way of changing the way we represent it and getting a good laugh, which teaches our nervous system a new pattern, which is amazing. And, years ago, on the Brady Bunch, there was a similar thing where one of the characters had to give a talk. I think it was they had to be in front of a courtroom, and they were really nervous because of public speaking. And the person said, oh, picture everyone in their underwear. So it's a similar thing. And when they did that, everything seemed funny. They laughed, and it made them relax. So to go over it again, pick something that really scares the daylights out of you. Pick something that makes you laugh. It could be funny clothes. It could be a funny context, a funny hat. It could be, dangling them off of a cliff, just something that's going to make it funny. Get your wand, say ridiculous, and picture these all happening at once. Now, the reason I think it's useful, even though beyond being funny, to actually have your wand and say ridiculous is two things. One, you're using your body, which engages your body in a different way as well, in addition to the laugh. And saying ridiculous is giving your internal auditory processing something different to say. So instead of whatever you typically say in your head, like, oh no, this is terrifying, etc., now you say ridiculous and you picture the new thing. And I think you'll find if you tweak it, keep tweaking it a little bit, it will completely flatten out whatever feelings were in that picture. So I encourage you to give that a try. Give it a try 5 or 6 times so that you really start to integrate the pattern so that you can use it whenever you need. And now you have a new spell. Ridiculous.